Hello and welcome to a very exciting episode of the New Frontier podcast. So today we are joined with two guests, Shardul, the CEO of Converse Cart, and Timore, the CTO and co-founder of EComtent. And we will be discussing Rufus and AI-powered search in e-commerce. And I think we've got two of the best possible guests to discuss this broadly because Shardul has built his own version of Rufus, which Amazon sellers. Maybe Shardul, do you want to give a bit of background about what Converse Cart is and how it relates to this?
Yeah, thanks, Max. Converse Cart is a conversational search engine for e-commerce. It talks with users. So think of it like when you go to Nike.com and you search for running shoes for long distance marathon. Uh, Currently, it doesn't show you results, but our conversational search engine not only shows you results, it asks you follow-up nudges to understand the consumers and create a conversation and engagement.
Yeah.
About me, so I grew up. Yeah,
No, go on.
that is Converse Card. All right. Yeah, no. I also like. I had this my intro prepared, so I will go. Uh, I grew up in an e-commerce family where my parents ran an e-commerce company for 10 years, and back when I was in IIT, I built my own e-commerce platform for India. And over the years, this gave me the idea and realized that this is search and discovery is a problem that users are having. So that is why I wanted to do Converse Cart.
Makes sense. And I mean, the fact that Amazon are doing this clearly shows that you're helping sellers to do this, and clearly a useful thing. And the fact that you've built this also means that you're a great expert to have on and discuss Rufus and AI-powered search. And Timore, do you want to briefly introduce yourself as well?
Yeah, for sure. Excited to be in the comment industry because I'm coming from AI research background. Spent many years developing neural networks and so-called deep learning AI models. And now in e-commerce, I feel like a lot of data and a lot of opportunities to apply the latest AI, especially Gen AI techniques, to actually help sellers specifically and in general the industry to prosper. And so it's great to see all these changes that we are observing in the commerce industry and see how AI playing a main role in that.
For sure. So two deeply technical experts here, which is great because this is a really important discussion. And for those listeners who don't know what Rufus is, I'll just start by reading the press release. And often when we're at Amazon, we would write these press releases before the product was built, and that was kind of the vision that we take it to. But anyway, the press release for Rufus is as follows. Rufus is a generative AI-powered expert shopping assistant trained on Amazon's extensive product catalog, customer reviews, community Q&As, and information from across the web to answer customer questions on a variety of shopping needs and products, provide comparisons, and make recommendations based on conversational context. From broad research at the start of a shopping journey, such as what to consider when buying running shoes, to comparisons such as what are the differences between trail and road running shoes, to more specific questions such as are these durable, Rufus meaningfully improves how easy it is for customers to find and discover the best products to meet their needs, integrated seamlessly into the same Amazon shopping experience they use regularly. So in this press release, just to carry on briefly, they highlight 3 ways that customers are going to be using this. Firstly, shop by occasion or purpose. So you can discover products based on activity, event, purpose, such as what do I need for cold weather golf? And Rufus is going to give you shoppable product categories such as golf base layers, jackets, and gloves. It's going to help you with recommendations. Customers can ask for recommendations such as what are good gifts for Valentine's Day, very timely question that we should all be asking ourselves, and it will give you some good results. So I might go and do that one later. And lastly, you can ask specific questions about products on a product detail page. So all of this is, Shardul has built Converse Cart and is live. So I'll turn to Shardul. Shardul, how are you seeing this play out currently with real life customers of yours and the e-commerce sellers, real life customers? What are you seeing happening?
Yeah, no, I think in our experience, we have noticed like from moving from traditional search to a more conversational search, LLM based search, users are interacting with it more to create sort of a conversational, like continuous engagement. They spend more time on the website. A user that uses the conversational search spends more time on the website, views more product, and there is less search bounce. By search bounce, I mean a user comes and doesn't understand, like traditionally, if it's a technical product, if the user comes to a website and finds that they don't understand the terminology, so they move away, go on Google to search for it, and maybe find a better alternative. So this ability to ask question from the user perspective is helping the website retain the customers and create engagement, answer their questions in real time. So this is
Yeah.
something that we have noticed with Converse Card that people are going for.
And I think you
In
quoted
addition,
beforehand a 7%
Mhm.
increase in this conversion, right? So it's actually helping.
Yeah.
Kind of obvious why sellers and Amazon want to employ this
Mhm.
kind of conversational search, because
Yeah.
it's more helpful and you get more conversions.
But
Mhm.
yeah, conversational
Yeah.
is a very natural way. So I know everyone actually enjoying to chat with chat GPT and then conversational systems, because it's like sometimes when you're lonely, you can chat and like spend more time with chatbots. But in the same, when you're shopping, you kind of put more time actually during shopping experience. And I know Max, you also like enjoyed working with ChatGPT. Have you noticed any like differences compared to standard search?
I did a tweet, and it's now in our blog as well, about this when it's launched. So I put the same query into ChatGPT and Amazon search, and the query was classic book for a 6-year-old girl's birthday party who likes dogs. So this could be, this could be something that you're searching for a customer, right? And no surprises here. When you do that into Amazon, you get a bunch of complete rubbish. The first sponsored product was hilarious jokes for a 6-year-old. Obviously, not at all my intent of what I'm trying to get. The next two were the natural, the natural search results, not sponsored, were both on both product listings. You could clearly see that they were targeted at 2-year-olds. And in fact, the image of the second book said collection of stories for 2 years old. When you do this in a conversational sense on ChatGPT, the answer that it comes back with was, for a 6-year-old girl who loves dogs, I recommend Charlotte's Web by E.B. White. This is a classic novel, while not exclusively about dogs, it's a heartwarming tale of friendship and love among animals on the farm. So much better at understanding my intent, much better at giving me, what is actually a good answer, a classic best-selling. I think it is actually, I looked this up, it is the best-selling child's book in paperback. So many people probably have heard of Charlotte's Web, and just a far better experience as a customer.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree that like currently the technology is how I've seen like it's playing out in the industry is people like the LLMs that are very sales oriented are giving rubbish results the due to the forgot what's the, if you remember Timur, like the name of hallucinations, yeah, due to the
Mm.
hallucinations
Yeah.
because of their sales targeting. And but the key is to be very user centric and act like a product expert rather than acting like a sales or shopping expert. And how we have realized, like, from our earlier iterations, earlier versions of trying to be a salesperson, to when we were talking more product and talking more like an expert, the focus was on being an expert. There was more engagement and more conversion on the seller's end. Some of the users that I interviewed to understand why this was happening was because, for take you for an example, like, you don't want to talk to someone who's constantly pushing you products without understanding your needs. So you want to someone who not like who understands your need like an expert. So the key is to act like the brand and product expert, someone who understands the technical details of the products you're looking for. And when you do that, it creates a trust and confidence within consumers that, okay, this website understands my intentions and I can trust them.
Mm.
So, and same thing happened with you, Max, where ChatGPT act is oriented like an expert. So it answered from an expert perspective rather than trying to push you products. So it was able to do that critical thinking and deliver you results. And
Yeah,
something that we
Sure.
are trying,
Yeah.
yeah.
This important piece to
So,
show users a trust, so they can trust in AI system. And I noticed there were no trust. You remember there were previous iterations of chatbots, and people, I'm not sure they were trusting these chatbots. They were not so good. It's not so advanced. But
mm.
now, like with this latest iteration, uh, I feel that people are starting to trust the system. I know sometimes people even like trust it more than like Google search engine. So they speak with
Yeah,
ChatGPT and like try to get insights about what's going on in the world about some concept. So there is some level of trust now, and as Shardul you mentioned, it makes sense that users would want to have this expert on their side, and when they buy things, they want to make decision based on some good judgment. And we see that it's happening now. That's why it's very promising that this LLM based search could be a new way to shop for
yeah.
buyers.
mhm,
Well, we've been Timor. We've been thinking about this for a very long time, right? I mean, we've been thinking about this and kind of betting on this for almost a year and a half. And I really think that in the same way, when we moved to mobile, I remember pretty quickly, maybe in a few years, you had like 60-70% of searches coming through mobile, people, shopping on Amazon. I think this is going to be, if not the same, if not quicker than that. And people are going to love this experience. As Shardul was mentioning, they're gonna trust it. You don't want to be. I don't think anyone wants to be scrolling through thousands of product listings. Like, inherently, that's not a really fun or good experience. It's much better just to have a quick conversation around what you like and what you don't like in each specific product that's surfaced until you land on something which is good and suits you. But I think so. We'll move on. I think people probably understand how revolutionary this is, but we'll get into the weeds a bit about search. And so, Shardul, I'll turn to you. Talk to us about like the basics of search and how it works from a technical perspective.
mhm. Yeah, sure. But before we move on, I also wanna like add on, like, to your
Hmm.
point, that in discoverability that we observe with our users, that we conducting experiments where we ask consumers to go through the natural navigation of their websites, like of the e-commerce websites, and use traditional search and conversational search. A big difference that we noticed was, for navigation, you needed to be expert in traditional search. you needed a lot of, like, it was either it returned the results or not. But with conversational search, it enabled discovery. So you don't need to be an expert on specific websites navigation. So this allowed new users of the website to engage more. And to move on to the, like, search. Search is broken down into, like, two components. One is the retriever and one is the ranker. When you enter a keyword or you have a query, you want to search something, the retriever uses your natural language or keywords in case of traditional search to understand your requirements, what you need, and return the products. And then ranker ranks them based on relevancy of what you would like, based on your past purchase history, other customers' histories, and the relevancy of your search to the results and the sponsored products. Like if the website has any offers to, like, historically, like, optimize the cart value and the revenue for the website. So
Hmm.
this is the breakdown of the search engine in terms of, uh, yeah. So
So
retrieval.
it makes sense.
Mhm.
And like I'll just add that from working with A9 on Amazon for so long, it's just you have kind of these two things: the keyword matching piece, but also there's a very important piece in traditional search, which is looking at, as you said, Shardul, sales velocity, conversion rates, customer reviews and ratings, in stock and price. Um, and I like with the onset of ChatGPT, we've seen a lot of tools crop up which kind of do this keyword stuffing, and I've always been um, we've been very cautious in what we built Timore, right? Where we're not kind of forcing keyword stuffing into listings, because it's not just about the keyword matching, although it's an important part of it. Um, Really, you want to have listings that convert well, and Amazon or any search engine will be looking at that, click through to the basket, and then ranking those that convert from a query is higher on the search. So it's not, I don't know, Shardul, do you want to talk anything more about how keyword matching works, from a technical perspective?
Yeah, yeah, sure. So keyword matching in traditional search engines are full text search engines. So they go through the text of your product descriptions, any additional tags you have, the title, the categories. So it works by direct matching, and if you have any additional tags attached to your products, that's how the traditional search works. With AI search, it gives you the option
Mm.
of uh, matching based on relevancy, matching based on the images of the product. So you don't even need the keyword. Sometimes you have the image and the search understands the that this product has a picture of Michael Jordan on it, and if you search for t-shirts with Michael Jordan or basketball t-shirts, so uh, yeah, the in this the AI search, the LLM search, it breaks down your conversation. So let's say you're having conversation with this Rufus, Amazon Rufus or Converse Cart, and you're saying, like, I like basketball. I want a gift for my son, who is 13-year old. So the conversational or the LLM part will pick up on all those cues, like basketball, Michael Jordan, 13-year-old boy, and gifts, to construct and retrieve the results. And then, as like I said, based on, like, similar to Amazon's A9 formula, which you can uh, elaborate on more, Max, that we retrieve the rankings and show the consumer, the users, the most relevant products that will create natural engagement and highest likelihood of conversion and revenue.
Yeah, so like indeed, like everything changing also not in front of users, but under the hood. Because before that, in the world of when in order to search and prepare your data and your product listings for search, sellers or maybe retailers, they're supposed to populate their listings with additional keywords. And it was very relevant specifically for photos or images of the product. So they need to describe and add these keywords to the listing to showcase what are the image photos present on the listing. Because search was focused on this, basically based on this text keyword search. But nowadays there is a shift because the listing could be viewed as a holistically. It's not just the text; it's also images, infographics. It's so-called multimodal data that represents the listing. And when users are searching using AI-based search, they want to see listings that not only were found based on text, but also on the visuals, how they look like, if there are some specific maybe details, because that could be easily discussed through conversation. And in order to store these listings in this, there need to be special format. And one of these there is special terminology. Maybe I will describe this, so-called embeddings. So embeddings, it's like a special machine representation of objects, like products, and it captures various features of the listing of the product. So it's like color, size, like brand, like how it looks like, what is the best demographics, and everything captured is just one so-called embedding. So the whole holistic view of the product represented in one embedding, and there are special ways to search based on using this embedding. So because they construct it in a special way, then when these products are similar, like embeddings are similar, they represent they are close to each other in this embedding, so-called embedding space. So because of that, so a lot going on under the hood from technical perspective, and the old techniques also evolving. But yeah, luckily, yes. So it's also helping to provide more personalized search results for users, and at the same time, nowadays sellers don't need to populate and add these keywords, do this manual labor to create this detailed view, because this could be done automatically by AI.
Yeah. So just to double click on what you both said. First of all, Shardul, you mentioned this kind of LLM based search, and if I understand what you're saying, it's not just about a keyword match anymore, because as we all know of ChatGPT, it's super conversational, it's very fluid, and therefore it doesn't have to be an exact match. The AI is now intelligent enough to kind of understand the purpose behind the search and kind of surface that kind of stuff. And then to more, I think what you were mentioning there about multimodal AI is these models can interpret images. As anyone who's used ChatGPT will know, right? It can understand what an image is. Are you looking at what the colors are? All of these different types of things, which means that in search, what Amazon will now be thinking about is how do we weight different, how do we ascribe different weights to text, to image, to other attributes? Because, for example, if your listing is saying a blue jumper in the text, but it's purple in the image, Amazon and Rufus is now going to be smart enough to know not to surface that. So it's a very interesting dynamic that we're moving into with these. Did I capture those two correctly, Timore? Is there anything else you'd add on?
No, it's correct. I think like now, like it's advancing, and like sellers, I think, need to also adopt to this search, specifically because like, well, it's e-commerce is competitive, and those who adopt and will be the first adopters of like prepare for these new ways, they will be winning, and that's why it's important to start early, to think about that.
It's $1 million question, isn't it? So, like, how should they be adapting to more? What's your view?
Yeah, my view is the first thing, of course, these pages, listing pages, they should be more detailed, more information on the pages.
Yeah,
that's because now it's not like straightforward search, with short words. It's discussion, and through this discussion, the small details about the product should be present. So, for example, description copy should be much longer, representing kind of the brand details, representing not just the product, but also the view of something that resonates with the customer group that is being sold. And the listing pages should be contain more images that should represent this brand view of and I think that's potentially will help to personalize these listings. So this listing should be personalized for different customers, because it should resonate, whatever is written there, with their desires and like motivations to buy. So that's my view, but maybe Shardul, you could share like specifically details on the listing.
I agree that as we move on to more LLM based search era, the sellers needs to definitely adapt the product listings. There needs to be more distinctive attributes to a product, where like traditionally you could have like same paragraph on all your products, and that would just, it will confuse the LLMs, it will confuse the AI search. So you need to trim it down and add specific identifying information about the products, if it's available, and whatever the qualities are of the specific product, the features, the technical details. And in addition, like we were discussing earlier about the comparison between ChatGPT and Amazon Rufus, you need to add information about your brand and the product space, on how customers can make decisions on the products. So that will allow the search to understand your products better. So when they search for, in your example, like books for 6-year-old, it will not just say like 6-year-old books. It will understand that, okay, for 6-year-old books, I need to look at like this representation of what the 6-year-old book means, and deconstruct that. So those specific details of understanding the product at a more detailed level, and adding like specific technical information which is not easily available through images, or it's like specific to your brand, specific to the technical implementation, guides. These sort of information will become more relevant even as they move to like product based Q&A. So think of like what will help consumers answer questions on product based Q&A. So this information will also become relevant. Reviews, specific reviews, they will become very relevant in AI search.
Yeah. So to pick up on what you're saying, Shardul, on kind of distinctiveness of the listings, and Timore there talking about just more details and kind of outlining the different customer journeys, which is going to help the LLM to surface when a particular customer has that journey. I was listening actually to Vincenzo, who's a close friend of EComtent, interview Aaron Cordovez, who has a fascinating story. I met him in Texas, and he went from kind of being an Uber driver to almost now a 9-figure seller. So he an absolute success on Amazon, and he was talking in this interview about kindergarten keywords. And basically, if you want to succeed in Amazon in 2024, you don't want to. He sells the top lemon squeezer, and I'm paraphrasing. You don't want to kind of go up against him on the lemon squeezer. You want to find your kind of kindergarten somewhere where you can bully hit them out of the park on a specific niche, which would, for example, be like an orange squeezer, and then you make your entire listing orange and talk about orange squeezing, and then you can kind of go on, the picture's orange and the text about oranges, and you can kind of go and beat him in that niche. And I was thinking, A, fantastic advice for sellers trying to compete in 2024, and B, I don't know if he was thinking this. I imagine probably not, but it's also great advice when you're thinking about AI and LLM based search, because in that niche, it's going to pick that up above maybe a best-selling lemon squeezer, because if the customer asks specifically about oranges, it's just going to show that, because that's the LLM is going to understand that. So I think super good points there.
Yeah, it is like you mentioned that. It's interesting. It's a great advice, but I'm thinking with Rufus, actually it's like AI-driven tool. So like have these advices and kind of like best practices, how sellers supposed to like what they're supposed to do in order to win. But the problem is with AI-driven tools, they're evolving quickly. And
yes.
Like before that, with every kind of change with technology, underlying technology at Amazon, like everything changing, and basically ranking could change. And it was like always shake up, some sort of shake up every time. But the problem now that for sellers, maybe it's like difficulty that it will be happening continuously. So this changes to AI-driven tool, how it's behave, how it's actually communicated will be happening continuously, and sellers should regularly update their product listings and basically images and the content to ensure that they remain relevant and optimized for Rufus' latest capabilities, because it's supposed to be like changing, evolving quickly. Well, I don't know, maybe interesting thing, it was happening also with ChatGPT from time to time.
I was just going to ask you this, Timore, because us non-PhDs in AI will have noticed the AI drift, and it was well documented, right? That like ChatGPT suddenly just got worse about a year ago, and like people saying, "Hey, this is really weird." Can you explain what AI drift is, and like how maybe moving now to an AI-based search, like the algorithms are going to just not only they're going to be updated by Amazon, but also they're going to just drift, right? There's two things that are going to happen now.
Right. My personal view that like normally AI-based system improving, but I notice also there are a lot of complaints, and the complaints mostly related to the fact that users, like those who interact with chat-based system, they get used to specific way to do that. So they started comfortable. They realize what are the best ways to interact with chat-based system with LLM, and it's predictable for them. And when they see that results are less predictable, just because they now need to interact in different way, they're not happy, not satisfied, and it's normal. So, but the question is,
why do they drift? Why do they drift more? Just out of interest.
So well, it's natural. So when every time we kind of improving the model, so-called fine-tuning model or retraining model, it's a lot of parameters and like a lot's going on. So the previous approaches like wouldn't always work, because it's like new data was introduced, and in some way it's improving the overall system on average, but in some ways in the same time the system for some edge cases could perform worse or different. So it's like natural way how it's the systems trained at the moment, AI systems. But what I want to emphasize that I assume with listings, it will be the same. So in order to like rank high, this listing should be improved constantly. But because the models also be evolving, so it's just in some way more kind of like constantly adopting to these new models and like be comfortable for this to adopt these changes.
I mean, we've been through Techstars, and I've met multiple founders out in San Francisco and elsewhere, and the amount, like I couldn't count on my hand the amount of founders trying to solve for this like AI drift. Feels like it's definitely a big problem that a lot of technical people are trying to solve for, because as you say, people get used to one way of searching, and then for various reasons, fine-tuning changes, different parameters, whatever, it changes and people are upset. Shardul, before I just want to bring you back in. Something else you mentioned was super interesting was about reviews and Q&A. And I mean, Rufus has said this, right? They've said in the PR review that it's like the model's trained on Q&A sections, obviously super important to help answer questions that sellers the customers are going to have when they're discussing products. So like how much more important is this going to become, do you think, in kind of AI search?
Yeah, no, I think this is gonna become Q&A and product specific information reviews are gonna become more important, as this allows AI to understand products better. Like we discussed earlier, they are moving on a more meaning based and representative based search more. So with Q&A and reviews, it allows the AI models to understand the specific uniqueness of every product. And another thing, yeah, so this will allow AI models to adapt to it more. One another thing that I wanted to add and stress more on is like one thing sellers can do to adapt to AI search is rely more on AI tools, because AI tools like EComtent or others are optimized to no, but like they are optimized. So the manual effort will get increasingly difficult. It will get increasingly difficult to compete with manual tagging. So you need like an automated system that will optimize the listings based on conversion and seller goals of which product they want to promote. So it will move on to that kind of model, I believe. So the adaptation will come on seller's part in trying out which tools work best for their systems and their goals on their website or on Amazon.
Yeah, and we didn't pay you to say that, so thank you. But yeah, I hope that was kind of tactical advice for sellers. So Timore, you mentioned about just having more content. Again, you could do that with AI or not. Shardul, you talked about the importance of distinctive listings. I mentioned kind of Aaron Cordova's kind of niche keywords and niche product listings, I think, as well, going to be important there. Timore, you said about these regular updates, and then Shardul, you said even more emphasis on customer reviews and Q&As, because these are going to be fueling these AI models. So hopefully a lot of tactical kind of stuff that people can think about, and we've written a blog actually on our website which goes into more details on that. So that's kind of how we're thinking that e-commerce sellers can adapt. In terms of the future, and I know this is kind of might be scary for some people because it feels like we are talking about the future, but this is the relentless pace of change is never ending. And Timore, where's it go? Where's it go after this?
Well, I believe in some way it's inevitable that we are going in the future of AI agents, where both sides actually, first of all, like shopping experience will evolve even further. So like probably as a shoppers, as buyers, we will use personalized agents who knows us well and could shop on our behalf, and like basically without even search, they could provide some ideas what is optimal for us to have. But for sellers, it could be similar. So I believe that should be AI agents that will help sellers not just improve like their content, but also work on the other tedious tasks, and there are a lot of them, and both managing inventory, communicating with buyers, a lot of like manual routine work that sometimes stopping sellers to kind of innovate and like think broader on the business. So this tedious task will be taken care of by AI agents, but still there will be, of course, involvement. So sellers could spend more time on thinking about like branding or like more strategy of their business, and this individual task will be covered by AI agents that will take care of that on autopilot. That's my view on that. But at least from tech perspective, everything going in this direction, and a lot of research going on specifically on AI agents, and like e-commerce is natural industry to adapt that, because like we understand that sellers sometimes need to forced to do this routine work. Sometimes it's not the best use of their time, and hopefully that's the best way of use of technology take over of this, and let sellers innovate and think about more stuff that's important, like branding or strategy. But just one more thing, I think there are still risks that could be involved in that, because just letting AI agents to do something on their own sometimes risky. At least at these stages, some sort of review is necessary, and there will be time some during this timeline. So there are sometime there will be need to observe it. But what other risks? I don't know. Shardul, could you share any other risks
No,
associated
definitely.
with that?
Like I agree, Timur, that like with technology, like there are also like e-commerce has evolved over the last 25 years to a point where we are highly optimized in how we are presenting, how the user interface presents the products. The customers intuitively understands and are able to navigate the e-commerce, even though however like research intensive it may be. So moving to a text-based model or just text-based communication presents risk where if you see like through research, historical research, if you see more products per visit, you have a higher likelihood of conversion or buying something. Humans are visual thinkers. If you just say huge chunks of, if you give them huge chunks of text, they wouldn't want to read through those, and it will not be a very engaging experience. So the experience itself presents, like as we move to a agent based search model, we need to rethink how we are presenting the information. It needs to be image heavy. It needs to align with the existing e-commerce interfaces, where you can't just dump a chat gpt. Like it might be cool for some users who are in the early adopter stage and want the hype interface, but for the large majority of users they still want that traditional like click click, because it's so much easier than to type. Something that we noticed. So we need to reimagine the like UI for agents. It's gonna be very essential, and something we have spent a lot of research on at Converse Cart in trying to understand how users think and interact with different user interfaces when it comes to like the conversational elements of and conversational engagement.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the brilliant things, about being a startup in this space at this time, right? Is that we are getting to experiment maybe where, you know, you're already launched Converse Cart. Rufus, I think, is still in a bit of a beta with customers. So you've already, you know, obviously there's a lot of big advantages to Amazon, but you've already seen that customer feedback and you know how people are reacting and you're experimenting. So, you know, almost in saying what's the future of this, Shardul, I could be asking you, like, what's the future of Converse Cart? Where are you thinking about going? And, you know, that maybe you could illustrate.
Yeah, no, sure. Thanks. So Converse Cart is conversational search engine. So we are expanding to make this experience more immersive and integrative with the overall shopping experience. And so you can come into the website not knowing anything about the website. So, like I mentioned previously, you currently to go through the navigation of a website, you need to be an expert not only on the products but on the website. So this part will get eliminated where you can come in and interact naturally, see multiple listings in a interface you're familiar with, and get like have higher product discoverability and engagement and understand it won't feel like it's being sold through so your brand you don't want customers to feel like it's being sold through someone who just cares about selling the products. They care more about you as brands, as creatives. They have created brands and products that people actually care for. So AI search should help extend that expertise further and not just diminish it by putting the onus on users.
So
So
it's the
in
future of
future, yeah,
personalization, is it?
yeah, exactly. The future of personalization is with like tools like Converse Cart. We are making it an integrative platform where once the user comes to your website, you don't need like tons of data on users to personalize to them. You can personalize as you are talking with the user, and as you talk with the user you understand more, you get more data points, not just the clicks and the location and historical data, but active engagement data on why they are buying. Are they buying gifts for their daughters? If they're buying gifts for their daughters, you understand that okay, this is something I need to show, like gifts, some gifts related, and they have a daughter. So how I can optimize my experience for this man who might be in there, or this person who might be 30, 40 years of age, if they have a daughter of 10 years. And so what do I need to show to them? What do I need to show for their kids? And you understand them more, you are able to personalize it more.
Yeah. And I'd throw out one more prediction. And this is kind of old school because when I joined Amazon in 2016, there's something called dash buttons, which was like the big push. And dash buttons were like a little it was hardware that you would have above your, in theory, above your laundry basket, and you'd press it if you ran out of laundry soap, and it would just order for you the new laundry soap, and you'd have one above, you know, the toilet paper rack, and you press it, and you'd you know order more toilet paper. So Amazon kind of launched that view of just kind of continuous replenishment, and it didn't work, and I think it's closed down now, dash buttons, but it was for like 2016 2017 there was a big push on this. But I think now we're kind of entering back into a world where you could have a smart fridge, a smart kettle, a smart, you know, you've got your Vision Pros on, and you know you could just have this kind of, you know, maybe search, the next step of search is you don't even search, you're just kind of having these AI agents that Timore talked about, and you've got these kind of this hardware, intelligent hardware around your house, kind of just fulfilling, you know, filling yourself up, so you just never have to even think about certain products. Not every category, obviously. If you're buying fashion, maybe you want to still be involved in, you know, that decision, but like certainly for some kind of more mundane stuff like Fairy Liquid, you probably don't want to have to do that. So it probably would be just more convenient to have an agent do it for you with some hardware. Cool. Well, Timore, any I saw you. Any closing thoughts? Were you about to say something?
No, like I think it's a important conversation, and
Yeah,
kind of because everything changing, everyone need to think how to adapt, and yeah, hopefully it's a bright future, a lot of opportunities ahead. So every change is usually it's an opportunity. So it's a question of who will use it and will win. So it's a good time to be, I guess.
definitely. And Shardul, thank you so much for joining us. I think there couldn't have been a better guest to get on this week with your expertise, and I think you hopefully brought a lot of insights about how these things are built, and from the technical perspective and how customers are using it. If people want to reach out to you and get a Rufus on their own website in Converse Cart, where do they find you?
So they can find us at conversecart.com, conversecart.com, or they can reach out to me on my LinkedIn as well, which I'm sure you will link it, but it's Shardul AGG, SHARDUL AGG. And yeah, that's how you can reach me, and you can install a Rufus on your own website. And thank you again for inviting me. It was lovely having a chat with both of you and learning more and also sharing. Yeah, thanks.
See you next time.
Bye bye.
See you. Bye.